Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria's biggest refinery, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, has laid off hundreds of workers in what it calls a reorganization. Unions like NUPENG and Pengassan have responded by halting crude and gas supply, threatening operations and risking fresh fuel scarcity. Dangote insists it hasn't violated any labor laws or labor rights, and he's just restructuring for efficiency. Now, critics question whether the unions are endangering national fuel supply to defend workers' rights, or if Dangote is using his monopoly powers against employees. With petrol sales already suspended in Naira, the big concern is who bears the cost, Dangote or ordinary Nigerians at the pump? What are your thoughts on this? You can join the conversation and call us on 02016352013 or 09024163440 or tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. So Dangote sacked a couple of Nigerians, bearing in mind that he has also employed numerous Nigerians. I think the people he sacked numbered about 800, while he still has in his employ about 3,000 Nigerians. And Pengassan and NUPENG are saying that for sacking these Nigerians, we are going to suspend selling crude to you in Naira. And we know why we got to the point of getting to sell crude in Naira in the first place, to make it easy for Nigerians to pay a lot lower. And if you go to the filling stations, you see now that fuel has been reducing constantly. So what does this mean for Nigerians? What did you think about when you heard of what has been going on between Dangote, NUPENG and Pengassan? Who's ready to go?
Change is always a battle. When you want to achieve change, if you want to change a way of life, a system that has worked and profited people, if you want to change your system, Mariam was taking us through keto earlier, a few years back, you will have keto flu. You will fall ill. A lot of things would go wrong when you're trying to change. But what we should remind ourselves is the change for our good as a nation. So I feel like here we are, we have a group of people who have profited from, as it were, and are uncomfortable with the change. And they would fight. So it's about how strongly do we want this change? Do we, the people, want change? Does Dangote really have ambitions to ensure that his business profits Nigerians and make Nigerians find petrol easily? I remember years back before the refinery started working, when he was talking about the investment he has made and how when it starts running, Nigeria will never lack for petrol. And that the entire West Africa will be supplied and not need to import. That's vision. But you know that there's a ministry, agency, companies who have profited from the importation, and they have a system that works for them. But does it work for the country, or does it work for the citizen? So we now have them fighting this new system and the change. And for me, it is very obvious. From the moment the refinery started working, it's been battle after battle, because the system does not want the change. So I want the government to step in. Do NUPENG and Pengassan have a right to cancel a contract agreement that the president and the country has with the refinery? Like, I don't understand. So I sack you, then you now say, I'll not give you food again. Or like, I don't get how that happens, because the government, the arrangement that Dangote refinery has isn't with the union to get crude oil in Naira. Remember, it wasn't with the union, it was with the government. So if you are not speaking for the government, why are we even taking you serious? And if you're not speaking for the government should speak for themselves, except they believe that Pengassan and the Pence is speaking on their behalf. And we, the citizens, will now call government that, who are you representing exactly? Because if you're representing us, anybody that is promising us to make fuel available cheaper and constant, that I'm not queuing up to get fuel, because in the past few days there's been a lot of drama going on, where you will get filling station and they are shut down. And we want to go back to the days where we are spending hours to get petrol. We don't want that anymore. So if the government is listening to the people, it would listen and navigate this situation so that we move forward towards change without feeling such pain as we are currently feeling, and Dangote, I'm sure, is feeling.
Okay, so with Pengassan and NUPENG, as we know that these are bodies that protect workers' rights, and we have advocated for, for a long time. I mean, the world has advocated for bodies like this so that workers are not taken advantage of, to protect their rights. But what I'm seeing right now, especially with this particular Dangote conversation is that Pengassan and Nupeng are weaponizing that power that they have for their own selfish interests. Because if you were to talk to this regular Nigerian on the street, we have no problem with Dangote and with the way that he's planning on doing his business, distributing petroleum to all of us. If there's something that they are uncomfortable about, because first of all, we hear that there was a mass sack of workers. What I would expect is that Pengassan and Nupeng are sitting down with Dangote and discussing why this has happened. Because there are many reasons why mass sack can happen. Was there some sort of sabotage going on within the refinery? Was there mass misbehavior that the company has come across?
Numbers?
Is it something that is going to affect the numbers, going forward? Is this something that when the company can also decide that we can no longer afford to employ this many workers? So we haven't even heard that conversation has been had yet. All we have heard are different threats of shutting down everything, and who is going to suffer for that? Nigerians. And so the thing is, for regular Nigerians, we're just looking at it as Pengassan Nupeng doesn't want the best for us. Pengassan and Nupeng haven't yet told the story of how this affects us positively. It just shows that they are weaponizing this against us. So we need to hear from them. Like, I don't want to, make a, I don't want to make the assumption that they have ulterior motives only. Sometimes until you hear from a person speaking, that you can now determine what their motives are. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt until we hear, after the accusations that Dangote has made, as we read in the papers this morning, accused them of a lot of things, says that this is not the first time they've done it, went back as far as 2007. And he also says, compared to what Pengassan has done for CSR, he, as Dangote, biggest employer of labor in our country, tax, payer in our country, and we've seen many things that he's done, contributions, donations that he has done across the country. So now you're playing against someone who has a track record of positively impacting our country, who's gone ahead to put in his personal resources in building a refinery that our country has spent decades upon decades struggling to do, and then all of a sudden you say you want to shut everything down because we're still waiting, because so we still haven't heard what Pengassan and Nupeng have against Dangote, and so because of that, I think
Amaka,
they have a lot to
to
answer.
you, let me quickly read some of the information we have here. They said at the heart of the crisis is the dismissal of 800 workers whom the union said were laid off after exercising their constitutional right to join Pengassan. Then the union also alleged that the refinery flew in illegal Indian expatriates to operate in Nigeria's sensitive energy sector, and he accused the refinery of wage discrimination, revealing that while Nigerian engineers earned 385,000 naira monthly, their Indian counterparts were paid upwards of $5,000. That's about 7.5 million. So I just wanted to put the information out there. Yes, but let me hear Amaka.
Okay, so let's start with the fact that we keep calling for the private sector to step in and to save certain sectors that we've been struggling with for so many years, for decades, right? For example, like we're still looking for help with the steel industry, the steel sector, because like no economy can, really run efficiently without having a steel industry. And then we had issues with light and with petroleum for decades now, and an individual decided to step up to bear this burden and to do the work. And since it started, it's been one thing or the other. So I understand the union's stance, that is rooted in fighting for the workers, the benefits of the workers, in quote and unquote. But they are using really high stakes. They're using high stake tools to do that. And the stakes they're using is affecting the national interests. And regardless of how you feel, before you start pushing to use a high stake that's going to affect the nation, you should have considered other measures like negotiation, talking to the government.
Let me get you. Who is using this high stake?
As in the union.
Okay, the union themselves.
Yes, right. And whatever stake that they're using is affecting the national interest. meaning that they're not even thinking of, okay, should we mediate, should we negotiate, should we get the government personnel to sit in on these meetings? Let's see the way forward before we just say we're cutting off supply, because this affects everybody. So now this is selfish, right, on one side. And then on the other side, you can see that the court, the judiciary has stepped in, you know, yes, to say you cannot do this. And the judiciary can only step in, or the courts can only step in, because they feel that you have overreached the power that you think you have.
Yeah,
so
you don't need to wrap up your thoughts. I'll come back to you
okay.
when we take this commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still talking about Dangote, Nupeng, and Pengassan, and there's breaking news that the NNPC, NUPRC, NMDPRA shot as Pengassan begins strike. That means that they've actually started the strike that they threatened they were going to start today. But Amaka was wrapping up.
And you see, it's so sad, because the main essence of this refinery was to reduce the reliance on fuel imports, right? And then to help us as a nation, for things to be easier, because we use fuel for everything. We use petrol. We use for all businesses, you know, in agriculture. This is going to affect the whole economy. Manufacturers. And then there'll be queue on the road. People can't even get to, well, for the benefit of who? For the benefit of who exactly? And you know, we need to see sometimes that the government needs to go hard on all these unions, because you see the mago that they do, and the selfish interests and the things that they do inside there. Because you can see that for someone to wake up and decide to sack 800 people from his employee, he did not sack all the Nigerians. Yeah. He still has over 3,000.
The ones that joined.
He sacked, yes. There's a reason why, because he feels that no business owner wants people or
want to be sabotaged.
They're stressing these people, for crying out loud.
Honestly, I'm surprised that the federal government.
But we have a call on the line. I'll come to you, Miriam. Good morning. Are you there?
I'm there. Good morning.
Good morning, Yakub.
And good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Kawarapi. Good morning, and then Miriam. You see, busy. For me, I stand with Dangote. I stand with Dangote, even though before now I'm not his friend. His friend in the sense that you know what the price of cement is today. But coming to PMX, I think this is the time Dangote needs Nigerian government, especially Mr. President, to come in. Yeah. Because we cannot be able to sit down and allow Pengassan or Pengawo, any Pengawe they call themselves, to sabotage Nigerian citizens. How many employment Pengassan has? They were, busy. It will be interesting to you that these people are fighting for their pocket. Tell the truth. I have some people working with them. I have a friend, a driver, a trailer driver. You get it? Because they were working for their leaders. Those leaders they are collecting money from all those trailer tanker drivers. Now you were claiming that Dangote sacked how many people in that company, but let's do plus and minus. How many Nigerian people Dangote give employment as of today? It is the highest employer of labor in this country today. But Pengassan are telling us that they want to stop it, they want to do this. They cannot do anything. You know why? You can only fight somebody that does not have money. Dangote have liquidity. Look, trailer. If today people ask for a job, Dangote sacked 3,000 today. Another 3,000 are looking for that job. And then Dangote will surely giving it to them. They are not telling us, see, they were just trying to fight for their survival, because those trailer owners, before now, they will say they want to transfer PMS from here to Ilaro, and then before you know, the PMS get to Benin, it get to Togo, it get to that. Yeah, so now Dangote is not coming to the system now. I can tell you for free. Before now, moving forward, this PMS will be coming down small. Because look at those trailers. In fact, people are looking at that trailer, they were afraid that because they will not get the money they were getting before. That's what they should go on. And then they should get out of the system. These just people. I'm sorry for using that word.
Thank you, Yakub. Thank you so much, Yakub.
Yes, I was just saying, almost in line with what Yakub is saying, really, that I'm quite surprised that the federal government has even allowed it to get to this point. Is Pengassan that powerful that it can shut down everything, you know, especially because we're talking about this particular refinery and what it means for our economy. We have had refineries that haven't worked in forever. We have invested billions of our money into these refineries that haven't worked. We have advertised a refurbishment of a refinery, claimed it was working, and then silent, and money went into this. And then a man decided to put his own hard-earned personal resources into making sure that we have a refinery because of what it means for our country, our economy, because of all the resources and the interest and the profit we will earn also as a country. I'm shocked that the federal government does not see this as a direct sabotage on the federal government itself, you know. And if why hasn't the federal government immediately called for a sit down? I haven't seen it. Sorry, maybe the presidency. I would say I would like for the president to call for an immediate sit down, and then these shutting down of offices, please let them just, you know, let petrol flow, let work go on as normal, and then the leaders should sit down and discuss this. Now, you had mentioned one of the reasons that Pengassan is asking for this strike is that they said they have Nigerian workers who are paid differently from their Indian counterparts. Why do you need to shut down everything for that conversation? Why can't this be discussed? Why don't we know? We should be hearing that, oh, the Nigerian engineers, these are their roles at the refinery, and this is what the Indians do. And so because of that, you know, there's a disparity. We don't know what the Nigerian engineers are doing. We don't know if the Indian workers are specialized workers doing something that is quite technical. And if the Nigerian engineers are so great, what happened to them when all our refineries were sitting moribund? That a man who does business decided to look around the world and see who can work in his refinery to make it work. I don't get it, you know. So what are the conversations we're having to the point that you think you can shut down the whole economy because workers are not being paid the same as their Indian counterparts? I'm not saying that you should not stand up for the rights of workers. We have always advocated that. But to the point where we are seeing this now as if you're using this really as a means to just shut this business down because it's no more business as usual in that sector. And we know how that sector has just been played by different cabals and whatever. And we know a lot of people have been making money from this sector. Money that is supposed to go into the Nigerian coffers is going to groups. You know, taking another story where Otedola was saying that there was an investigation into those, do you want to take the call instead?
Yeah, let me take the call. I'll come back to you so that I can wrap up your thoughts. We have a caller on the line, but please refrain from using insulting words on live television. Yakub, I know he had already apologized for calling them names, but we don't want to have that on live television. Are you there, sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
All right. So, first of all, let me thank you, the ladies, for the good job that you are doing there.
Thank you.
The issues about this Dangote versus Pengassan, the issues must be set out straight. Okay. Dangote is a private businessman. Okay. He is saying that the people that he sent out are sabotaging his business. He has the right to do that.
Yeah.
Pengassan, on the other hand, is fighting on behalf of the oil cartel. We are not children. We all know this. Exactly. Who are not happy with Dangote coming to help to ensure that there is free flow of fuel to Nigerians. We have seen the trend that you have been analyzing there. If the agreement the government, Dangote has, is not with Pengassan, it's with the federal government. So if Pengassan has issues with employment problems, it is the person they are working for, the institution they are working for, is who they should discuss with. But they are going now to down the national assets of the country for their own selfish gain. Don't forget, this is the same Pengassan. For decades, the crude oil in our high seas, half of it is stolen and under the watch of Pengassan. We have not had Pengassan say a word about that. Why are they not allowing Dangote to help this country? I think this is going to be a battle between the people of Nigeria and Pengassan.
Yes.
We are tired of this kind of thing they are doing to us to make sure Nigeria does not work. This country does not belong to a few people who want to wreck us dry. We will resist them to the letter.
Yeah. Thank you so much, George. Thank you.
Yes, I was just going to say, I also read out the story. Remember, Otedola actually responding, and he had mentioned that you remember the petroleum subsidy and a group of people that were making money off of that. You know, there's a lot that has gone down in this sector. You know, a lot of corruption, and we know that having this refinery and the way that Dangote has decided to run his business, which is he will make sure that he takes out the middlemen, send this product directly to consumers. We know that this is going to affect a lot of businesses that have a lot of illegal business that have benefited illegally from the process. And that is what they're doing. They're fighting back. And that's why I'm saying I wonder why the presidency has not shut this thing down. They should not have the power to pull this stuff that they have done so far.
So Dangote is a private businessman, right, who is running his business. And fortunately, the business has a lot of Nigerians connected because it's something that we all need and we find a way. We've struggled for many years to get it and it's trying to make it easy for us. But do you think that he owes us an explanation for sacking about 800 people as a private person? That's one. Two, do you think that Pengassan and Nupeng are trying to fight Dangote from being monopoly in this industry? Do you think that's what's trying to play out?
Okay, so Dangote Refineries is a privately owned business. It's a public limited company, but it is still a for-profit organization, which means that every decision being made subject to the board is reviewed to ensure that it profits the company. Now, while they might have a lot of altruistic reasons, and they might promote the altruistic reasons to the benefit of Nigerians, more petrol will flow. We'll not need to be spending a lot of petrol dollar, because actually one of the real costs of why Naira was pressured is because Nigeria was using dollar to buy petrol daily, and now we didn't need to buy. That was the reason they did the Naira exchange.
Naira
so it's a business. If a business makes a business decision, it is, and you want to question it, you have a right to question it. The government has a right to question it. Trade unions have a right to question the impact, because there's a ripple effect. When you lay off 800 people, let's just say 800 people, the families, the children, school fees, house rent, Christmas is coming, there's a whole lot that would happen through 800 people. It will have its own ripple effect. So I'm not saying that the laying off should be wiped away. And there are companies that are so big that anything they do would affect the economy. And Dangote is one of those companies. So what they have done would affect the economy. It's a conversation to be had. Pengassan and Nupeng is one of the that is strongest for me. NLC, TUC, once they say they want to call for strike, if Pengassan and Nupeng don't join, the strike is weak. When Pengassan and Nupeng join hands, everything shuts down. And they know they are very powerful. And they use it. How I wish they use it for our good. Like how I wish they use it for the entire people of Nigeria. That the next time ASU comes up and says that we don't have equipment as lecturers to work, we don't have lights, our students are suffering, Pengassan will stand up and say, because we know that if we step in, it will shut down. The president cannot, his negotiation, they will negotiate. When Pengassan shuts down, even president said, they will call Osifo. Osifo is their, he will call Osifo second meeting.
Who is Pengassan?
So Pengassan
what comprises Pengassan?
Are they oil and gas? Are
they not individuals that came together to be Pengassan?
To protect the abuse of Nigerian workers. And because when Nigerian workers were working under many international companies, the IOCs, they suffered.
Okay,
so they were needed, and they are still needed. It's just that we want the fight to be fair, and we should listen. So don't just exert your authority and shut down the entire country. It would affect students, it would affect hospitals, it would affect everybody. So you are fighting Dangote, but you're not fighting Dangote. So you are fighting Nigeria because you want to deal with Dangote. That is my problem.
You know why I'm asking the question? Because I'll direct it to Amaka now. They were set up to fight for Nigerian workers, right? But we've had multinationals till today, because I don't know the fights they have fought, till today, that are still under very harsh conditions in those countries. If you open your mouth, you are sacked. Till today, I have a couple of people who are working in different factories. Go to Ilupeju. What they see there.
That's why the 800 people joined.
Now, till today, we have not seen, aside from oil and gas now, these fights now that they are doing, I've not seen That's NLC too. I've not seen the way they carry the fight to the multinationals. But I'm seeing how Nupeng now and Pengassan carrying this fight to Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, Nigerians.
No, Nigerians.
Because we're the ones that will suffer it. But let me come to Amaka with my question. You are not happy with the fact that 800 people were sacked in an organization. And you feel you're supposed to fight for these people so that at least the 800 people would have their jobs back or whatever it is you're going to do. But do you think they checked the implications to millions of Nigerians? So you want to save 800 people. At what cost to the millions of Nigerians that are left behind? Do you think they checked the implications? Because now one of the implications is the fact that if they stop selling crude in the first place to Dangote, and he has the capacity to import crude with USD. Our Naira has been gaining strength regular. Now I hear Naira is like a 1,400 and something. Gaining strength now. And we go back to paying close to 2,000 Naira. Did you think they checked the cost implication on how it's going to affect every other Nigerian aside those 800 people that were sacked?
Okay, so let me answer your question coming from a legal perspective, in the sense that...
Sweetheart, let me take the call, then I'll come to you so you can respond. Good morning, we have a call on the line.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Chiloyomi. Thank you and well done.
Thank you, sir.
My own opinion is Pengassan and Nupeng, they still think the old strategy that they were using is still applicable. Okay. They've forgotten that once the music changes, dancing steps also must change. In the past, they were using this strategy of going on strike and it was working. Now they cannot send us back to that old age. Let me point out here, we have NURTW. Yeah. They have the association. We have other private transport companies. Okay. When NUTW go on strike or anything, does it affect all other private companies that run transport?
No.
Again, we have private universities. ASU is there, causing their trouble when they want to cut it. Does it affect private institutions? No. Never. Why does OSIFO and their group still think that they must continue to hold Nigeria into ransom? Somebody has used his money to infect. You said you want the person to continue to be dancing to your music. It's not done. What were they doing since all these days that things were not working well in this country? We have many other. You cannot determine how a company will run its own company, whether they have interior motive or not. They were not begging anybody to apply for jobs. Those who applied the job, they applied and they were taking on condition. If you're no longer good with that condition, resign. Yeah. You can't tell them that who paid the piper dictate the tune. They can't dictate what Dangote should do. We Nigerians should write off, government should write off, and receive them. If their tactic does not get through, next time they will think otherwise before they come out and be fighting for 800 at the detriment of 220 million. Yeah. And I also want to say, quote and unquote, I guess some people are using them against this government. That is my submission. Thank you and well done. Lady.
Thank you so much. On that note, we'll take a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still discussing Dangote, Nupeng, and Pengassan, and Amaka is ready.
So like we all know, Dangote's business is a private business, right? And then, like from what the caller said, there was vacancy that was advertised, and people came to interview for those positions. And I want to believe, like an organization like Dangote, that the staff have a contract of employment, okay? Because I want to come from the legal perspective of this whole matter. Okay. And your contract of employment should have stipulated the do's and the don'ts of the organization, right? And then within the contract of employment, you have the termination clause, which you have read and signed, and which agreed on, which gives the company the power to terminate as at when they see or feel due. So now, let's even remove Pengassan. We're talking about the contract of employment between between Dangote and the employees that they fired, and that contract of employment is what has given them the power to terminate the employment as at when they thought fit one. Then we now also look at the fact that we keep calling for foreign investors, right? And even private investors within Nigeria, when the things we continue to do weakens contract enforcement. Because it's so, I'm a lawyer, and it's so sad how we don't really, the strength of our contracts and contract enforcement, whether we like it or not, it's not strong.
Let me hold you a bit. I'll come back to you. We'll have another caller from Abuja. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning. Thank you for having me. Tope and my learned colleague, the barrister. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Actually, I want to make a little contribution on the issue concerning Dangote refinery and the Pengassan.
Okay.
Honestly, many speakers have called and they have shared their opinion on this matter, which is commendable and very acceptable. You know, for a very long time, the Nigerian-owned refineries have failed Nigerians. So there are lots of concern issues regarding to Dangote refinery because Nigerians are putting emotions on compassionate grounds that the government-owned refineries have failed, and the labor union, especially Pengassan, they did little more to make these refineries work. So that emotion on compassionate grounds there. $20 billion investment is a good investment in any economy around the world. That's well said, yeah. But you see, in oil and gas business, the value chain is big and huge. You know, in this country, almost across all the value chain involved in oil and gas activity, Pengassan and NNPC were fully involved. In particular, upstream, midstream, downstream, where Dangote refinery happens to be the midstream downstream, which is almost second to the last end of the value chain. You see, in this country, we have businesses that are for decades operating at the upstream, which $20 billion investment is a good investment there, but it's not that very much enough. And they are doing very well. And Pengassan and NNPC for all these years, tens of years, they have been contributing strongly in the growth and capacity building and everything across that upstream sector. So I believe if Pengassan and NNPC didn't bring down upstream sector in this country, that 80% of our national income or revenue comes from the oil. I don't think there will be saboteurs of Dangote refinery. There are always business partners, critical stakeholders to make sure that everything runs well. When the baby dies, nannies goes home. So if Dangote refinery is not there, Pengassan will not be there to unionize any person, only NNPC. So I believe that Pengassan and NNPC are critical stakeholders in every business. So for me, I don't know. If Dangote refinery today build that same refinery in India, now that we are taking that Indians are replacing Nigerians, I believe that before he even operates, the same condition that NNPC and Pengassan are giving in Nigeria, he has to abide by it first. Because even global economy, Western Europe, for example, in the United States, Boeing, $1 trillion sector, workers went on strike. Boeing, makers of Boeing aircrafts. In European cities, airports were shut down because of labor-related issues. Across the world, the United Nations, the International Labour Organization, is an arm of the United Nations. And labor in Europe and West is not taken lightly. Dangote maybe is not telling Nigerians what exactly. Dangote is not only in the business of oil and gas. He has many other businesses.
Okay.
Maybe the
Thank you so much, Kabiru, for your thoughts. It wasn't so clear. I didn't hear
but
exactly.
it was talking in defense of Pengassan, and that the Pengassan did not destroy the upstream sector. They cannot destroy downstream sector. That Dangote should comply with
the labor laws.
The labor laws.
Okay.
Now, constitutionally, according to our 1999 constitution, no company can deny its staff from joining unions. They have a right to join unions. Yes, in our constitution. So they cannot say in the contracts of employment they are not allowed to join unions. I was trying to get out the details of why they were fired. It's because according to Pengassan, part of it was because these people joined the union.
That's what they said.
But Dangote is saying that they were saboteurs of his business. So of course, we would like to have more details. Thankfully, this is not like the way. This is not like the way of the National Assembly where they can say anything can be gross misconduct. This one is not. You can't say gross. What's gross misconduct? Is joining a union part of the reasons you feel they are going to sabotage your business. Now, the Pengassan is has called on all staff that are working in Dangote refinery to down tools. Now, understanding the impact, it's not. Refinery is not. It's not car engine that you shut it down or
off and on.
You can't just switch it off. And while I know that people go on strike everywhere across the world, it's not a strange thing. We also need to realize that we have lived in a country where there are several oil and gas companies owned by the government where it is salaries are being paid without productivity. And we're a country that is struggling with productivity. So you now see a company that is tied to we have loans, we have debts, we need to be productive, and a union is saying people must join us, these are our terms and conditions, salary must be met. There must be room, a large room for negotiations. It mustn't come to a point where you want to shut down the refinery, shut down the country. When you shut down, when Pengassan and Lupeng, you are shutting down the economy essentially. So it is 800 against millions of Nigerians, and I'm going to appeal to the Pengassan for all their good intention, because at the end of the day, they have the power. We can only appeal. Even the president, when he calls them to conversation, it is going to be a negotiation. So we're going to appeal that whatever good they want to do will not be ill-spoken of with the way they are carrying it out.
Do they really have
so
the power?
that it is not, people will not, like what we have all been saying, that they are being a tool
but
used to
for
fight Dangote for the cabal.
Do they really have the power? Let me take a call
Okay.
and I'll come to you. Have a caller from Alimosho. Good morning, are you there?
Cannot fight them. They get power.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning, Oguride.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning, Oguride.
I want to talk to what class. Yes, I'm here. Mr. Oguride. I'm Mr. Oguride from Shasha Alimosolu. Thank you very much. My saying to the what you are talking is this.
You are listening to yourself.
Just
Sorry,
talking
we
to
had
the phone.
to. Yes, just talk. When you call in, just speak into the phone. You don't have to listen because there's a delay. Miriam.
I was going to say, that's what I was saying earlier, that we understand the rights of unions and that they are there strongly to protect the rights of workers. But we also understand that this is the world that we live in, that sometimes unions can flip, that sometimes they can they can overshoot their authority. Do you understand? And in this particular sector especially, there's been so ridden with corruption and all sorts of backhand business, they have to be careful what it is that the message that they're trying to send. They have to be clear what it is that they are fighting against. Because we have, that's why I said this particular refinery, whether we like it or not, however it, want to explain it, how it happens globally, the way it works in Nigeria is that we have had refineries forever that haven't worked. And we have one that a person decided to build himself. And because of the uniqueness of this situation, it's important that Pengassan is seen to, whatever it is, to be doing the right thing. Not try to sabotage this business, because we are being accused of, our country has been accused of sabotaging all the other refineries so that some cabals will earn money from the fact that these refineries were not working. So it does not look so clear, it's not so clear cut to us why Pengassan is shutting down. We understand if they are upset that 800 workers have been sacked at once. We understand if they say that some of the workers are upset because export rates seem to be paid much higher than they are. But the method in addressing it is my problem. Why do you think you want to shut? Why do you think the best is to shut the economy? It comes to me like you are trying to bully this man into doing only what you have to say,
in his
so
private
that
business.
even in future, if he's not the one in the wrong, he's too afraid of you to do anything. So that's my own grouse.
Yeah, we have another caller from Enugu. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good morning. Chibozo.
My name is Chibozo from Enugu.
Yeah, good morning.
You people have said it all well. And my contribution is this. I believe the government, they are hearing us. They should sit up to their responsibilities. They would have done something earlier before now, but it's not too late. There are many ways to figure it out, but the best way is negotiation. The federal government should sit up and be the good mediator that they ought to be in this case, so that we will not be held on ransom. So the federal government should mediate in between, because I've heard some people saying the court should mediate, but it will take a long process. Things will get out of hand. They're waiting for the court. So the federal government should immediately sit up and mediate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chibuzo. That is, taking us to how we're going to be wrapping up this conversation. But you say you have messages, okay, go ahead.
From YouTube, Brickhouse Capital says, so if Dangote refinery breaks down tomorrow, Nigeria would also shut down? Ridiculous. Fix our refineries. Give Nigerians what you promised them when you were campaigning for their votes. That's his own opinion. Another person, Ron Kebat, says, Sir Corey Michael says that the rights of Nigerian workers have to be protected. Yesterday accuses that Nupeng and Pengassan are working in cahoots with Cabal. Somebody posted, I can't find that post, somebody had commented that the Pengassan and Nupeng are like Jesus. They left the 99 to chase the one. Brickhouse Capital says the engineers that build Dangote refineries can be hired to fix Warri and Kaduna and Port Harcourt. No, they can't. Okay, they are different systems. So I said political corruption has killed Nigeria.
Okay, I have someone on the other side.
Yeah, let me take okay from my number and then you take your messages. Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. I just want to contribute for what you are discussing this morning.
Go ahead, you're live.
For Pengassan, to be very frank with you, I don't want to use any palatable words on them, because we can just see the high caliber of people that let me say the cabal that be holding Nigeria for over 100 years. Just how can you, let me say, another continent, maybe another refinery, somebody who wants to start another refinery, all those things that I'll be doing, how can somebody who put his own money to start another refinery? Because they don't want any other refinery, they want it to be as it is before. That's what they are doing. Forget about starting 800 people or not starting 800 people. 800 people, if you employ somebody in your house, and the person went to sign sign agreement that you can burn your house, will you accept that person to stay in your own house?
Not at all. Thank you so much, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Not at all, yes.
So Thinkami says, Dangote is exploiting the sentiments and emotions of naively gullible Nigerians with cheap blackmail and gaslighting. If Dangote allows those workers their constitutional guaranteed rights to unionize, Pengassan will not be on his neck. Nobody is after his investments. He says on Tuesday, Dangote workers exercise their constitutionally guaranteed right to associate and unionize. By Wednesday, Dangote sacked over 800 of those staff. That is the heart of the crisis.
Yeah. So on that, Onochi says, talk every day. No process in our life and society. Nothing is working in Nigeria. Everything in Nigeria is getting worse. We don't see any change, and it's scary. You know, because the reality is that we've not, like you said, for decades, we've not had refineries working in Nigeria. And finally, we have this hope. Yeah. You understand? We have to protect it at all costs.
Yes. Like egg. Sorry.
Like we have to protect, because if this fails, I wonder what the next step for Nigeria.
He's a private businessman, so he will not allow it to fail. So I understand the sentiment of Pengassan is trying to protect the workers by them joining unions. But someone who is employing, you know, majority of Nigerian workers in Nigeria should also have a form of right to say, this is how I want my workers to be. We've not had complaints where Dangote workers came out to say they are not paid, they are being owed salaries, they have not been paid their pensions, or we've not had that so far. I don't know if it's available, but we've not had that. So because of the fact that we've not had that, and he says, okay, for this kind of business to work. I don't want you to join the unions. I don't think he should be sacked. He cannot do that. No. So, okay, so
he cannot say they cannot join unions.
Okay.
No, we're just looking for
shouldn't it be optional?
No, it's not optional.
You have freedom of association.
Yes. So, okay, freedom of association, but it's not optional to be in the union or not.
So the challenge with the union is that the fact that the union can call its workers and say they shouldn't work.
Yes, that's the fear. Private business.
That's the fear of the company. Okay. But the companies, you mentioned yourself that there are companies in this country that are taking advantage of Nigerian workers. That they are on their feet, they cannot eat. The fumes are choking them out where they are working, but they are not in those unions that can fight for them. And I know that their unions have bought some of these places. Like I'm aware. I've read it. I've seen news clippings of when they bust. The organization that they broke the company into like 20-something so they can employ more foreigners in their company. And the union bust it and took them to court. So the union is doing so when they get reports on it. It's not like the union is all bad. It's just that there are many issues ongoing. We have that man asking for 75 naira per litre. We have many people that they've been making money off the value chain and they've been cut off and they're trying to find a way to get back in. So
what should we as Nigerians do to help this situation? So first of all, we want the government to come have a conversation with them. They started a conversation a few weeks ago before this,
that was when we went to decide.
Yes. But now, what do we need Nigerians to do as a people? One, what do we need the government to do as a people? One word, let's go. Time has gone.
Yeah, to call off this strike and go back to the table and have a conversation. Let's see, what it is. Dangote should by all rights should explain to Pengassan why those workers were sacked, and it has to be proven that they deserve to be sacked, not just because they were unionized. See, where specifically, I'm not saying having unions is wrong. We have seen how they have stepped in for Nigerian workers in different ways, but there's also, I will not be naive to say that the union is all it's perfect. It's always for the that there's no corruption that sometimes happen within the unions, that there are no political underlying in some of their activities. We understand that those sort of things happen, and we're saying that in this particular case it looks suspicious, so let's look deeper into it and why we're having a strike like this.
Amazing.
Because like for Dangote, they can say, okay, you know what, we have the right to suspend 800 workers. We're not firing you because we want to investigate that you're sabotaging
or not.
No, that's also a smart way of going about it. That's also a smart way of going about it, not just to fire, say, okay, we're laying this or we suspect so things. Internal works and internal investigations are ongoing. It can be ongoing for 8 months. You understand? Yes, it's all about it's all about diplomacy and how you apply these terms and conditions. You have to be smart about it. But the government needs to also step in to do something, because if they shut this refinery down and in the interim they have to import.
We have to go. Thank you so much, ladies. I want to take this comment. Akani Taiwo says freedom of association, but your papa no get company. No be juju be that. I think we've said everything we needed to say. The government needs to come to the table again to resolve this before it snowballs into something that Nigerians will not be able to come out of it. We've been buying fuel, low prices. It's been coming down. No queues in the filling station. This is ember period. We are just entering, and we need
allow for people to go home this year.
Our petrol to be subsidized as it has been, and we need it to further come down. So anything that would stress us, we don't want it. So please, federal government, Nupeng, Pengassan, Dangote, sit on the table and have a conversation. Thank you so much, ladies, for your wonderful contributions. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye now.